Welcome to another episode of TeeVo and the Beard.
You can't see us, but I'm TeeVo, and that is the Beard.
And I apologize for our small hiatus there. You know, sometimes real life gets in the way of fun.
And you know, if S.H.I.E.L.D. can take hiatuses and Supergirl can take a weird hiatus right now,
then why not us?
Why not us?
Right, we are no better than them, so...
But, you know, but as with hiatuses, they come back stronger, and I like to say that, so from here on out, I'm going to try to, you know, do a little better. As in,
okay.
You know, well, we're going to talk about this today. So there was a line in Black Panther, which we'll get into.
Yes.
Which came out yesterday from when we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
His sister Shuri is showing him new advancements in, you know, the Black Panther tech.
Right.
And Black Panther's like, well, why? It already works. She's like, just because it works doesn't mean it can't be updated.
Oh, yeah.
So just because, you know, we were cool with the way we've been doing it on TeeVo and the Beard doesn't mean that we can't, you know, improve.
So this is new and improved TeeVo and the Beard here.
Well, a little bit, you know. So I have listened to some, you know, thoughts on our recordings. Yeah. And I will start off with saying, you know, hey, a lot of people know my feelings about certain shows now.
Right.
Like The Flash. Let's just get it out there.
Yeah.
But the new leaf is, you know what? From now on, if I don't have anything really interesting or good to say about it, we just won't talk about it. Silence will be the key.
So you're going Bambi on this. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
A little bit. Well, you know, how many times a week, how many times a month can you really hear me say I didn't like this? To a point where it's like, I get it.
Right, yeah.
I mean, if I were listening, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But when it does something I like, which through the Instagrams, it looks like Jesse Quick will be back soon. Yeah. Maybe that's something, you know, we'll talk about.
And it's also not to say, if I'm reading you right, that we're not going to, you know, sugarcoat things either. If there are things that we have
major
criticisms,
massive issues
over, then yeah.
Because a lot of people, well, clearly they're still doing it, and the fan base is still alive. Clearly, there are people who do like the tone of the show it's going in.
Right.
I'm just not one of them, but we don't have to talk about that constantly.
Right.
Another thing is, if I don't have anything like interesting or very insightful to say, like so far with Black Lightning, I'll go ahead and say it. I enjoy the show so far.
Yeah.
I think it's going really good.
I'm definitely on the bandwagon now.
Do I have anything interesting to say about it, though?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
So we'll leave that there.
Yeah. And
Legends, well, same with The Flash.
Yeah. Legends out. The one thing I will say, because we're not really going.
You did have some thoughts on Legends, and as the person who actually did watch Legends, do you have any things?
To give a criticism here, as we now know, the Constantine episode was a one-off thing. He will occasionally, I guess, pop in.
Now, see, that's a terrible thing. I heard from other Legends people, and they told me that. I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean he left?
Right.
I said, well, why did they tease it from the beginning of the season?
Yeah, because I was really... I was already enjoying the show. You throw a character like Constantine in, he would have fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
But no, bye.
But then again, I mean, the show doesn't look like people who, like, quote-unquote fit in. It's just kind of the extra people of the Arrowverse.
It is the, you know, for lack of better words, this B and C list characters.
So it wasn't even about fitting into me. It's just, hey, people like him, great.
Yeah. Well, I meant like as the actor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He seemed to have really good chemistry with everyone. And as an episode, it was all right, but seeing him leave at the end kind of tainted the episode for me.
Well, yeah, it's this thing we've always said. Sometimes they've gotten better. It's just the way CW releases information.
Right.
Because had Constantine been a surprise during the finale, like a full-on surprise.
Right.
And then a one-off, you'd be like, oh, cool. Hey, Constantine showed up and did his thing. But they said Constantine from kind of the beginning, before the season started. So you have that expectation. Right. You don't see him the first half. You're like, oh, well, you know, hey, he'll be in the second half.
Yeah.
And he was. And then he left.
Right. He left within the same episode, too. So.
I mean, I know they said they'll bring him back, but, you know, we kind of thought... I thought you meant, like, back next week.
Right, yeah. Back constantly.
And then the week after, not eventually. And with CW Fashion, I'm afraid it's really going to be the finale.
Right, yeah. No, I wouldn't doubt that. And I mean, I'd like to see him back. And I'm going to keep watching it because
Well, you would enjoy the show.
I enjoy time traveling wacky shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it wasn't what I expected from the episode, but I'm still going to hold on.
Yeah. You just want to critique just that wave of Constantine-ness.
Right, because I would have liked to see an entire, at least half a season with Constantine in it the whole ride.
I do feel bad for him because I don't know if they just keep jerking him around, because when they revived the character for the CW world on Arrow,
right,
he again showed up in one episode.
Yeah.
And then you think, okay, well, maybe Arrow's not where he belongs. And you think of a show like Legends of Tomorrow. You're like, hey, that actually works out better.
Right.
Of course, he can do his thing. Oh, you left again. So, does he only want to do one episode at a time? Because that's okay.
Right, yeah.
Or do you keep going, oh, you're coming back. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, does he possibly have the worst contract in the comic book TV genre?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'd like to ask him. Or I'd like to ask the CW bosses.
Right. We'd love to have you on the show, Constantine.
Yeah.
But as Constantine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him at cons, Matt Ryan, the actor.
Yeah.
And that hair, it's not his hair.
Oh, no.
He dyes it for the role because he has full dark brown hair.
My world's been broken now. That's
He doesn't. So if you want to take a picture with him, someone had to be like, "Who's that?" It's Constantine. No, it's not.
So you just Photoshop his Constantine face onto his normal body.
Which at this point you might as well just Photoshop you with Constantine.
That's true. So any other new news before Black Panther?
Ooh, yes. So I am going to be sucked into the Riverdale world.
Do tell.
So it's been announced that Netflix is going to acquire the rights to make and produce and stream the new Sabrina Teenage Witch adaptation.
Right, the Chilling Tales.
Now, as someone who did not read Archie or Sabrina, my knowledge of Archie is very limited.
Right.
Very, very limited. So a show like Riverdale, for whatever people say about it, good and bad.
Right. And I've got both opinions myself as someone who watches it weekly.
It's just, I don't know the characters.
Yeah.
So I have no real stake into it. I'm more familiar with Sabrina only because of Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah.
But as I got older watching the Melissa Joan Hart Sabrina, I kind of thought, I don't know what the comic is like, but I have a feeling it's not this. This was made for the 90s.
Right, yeah.
And that's okay.
Well, Sabrina is a witch for her time and place.
Yes.
When she originally came out, it was very bubblegum, poppy, fun sort of thing, mischief makers.
Right.
In the 90s, it was very high school comedy drama sort of thing, where it's like she's going to go through these half-hour problems that will be solved by the end of it.
Like bullying and school dance.
And the internet. You kids don't know about growing up with the internet. And then the new Sabrina, though, is the darker, more on the occult side than on the teenage problem side.
Which will probably have both, but we'll see. Well, based on the title, it sounds like we're going to see more of the occult side.
Yeah, definitely.
But nonetheless, when I heard about it, and I heard they casted Kiernan Shipka as Sabrina, I was like, oh, well, that would be interesting. I don't know if I'll watch it, but...
They were like, we need a cute blonde girl.
Yeah. I was like, well, there you go. Great, fine, sure.
Yeah.
And then on February 15th, they announced, they said, no, you're watching the show. I said, why am I watching this show? Because Michelle Gomez is going to be in the show. I said, you are correct.
There you go.
I am going to watch the show. Now, I don't know the character she's playing, so maybe you as the resident Sabrina Archie person can fill me in. She's playing... Well, first they announced her character. She's going to be playing a character that's Sabrina's favorite teacher.
Right.
I think later reports did say she will then be possessed by Madam Satan.
Right.
Now, by the name...
She's not the good guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that depends on your point of view. She sees herself as the good guy.
Okay.
You're always the hero of your own story.
But what is this character? What should I expect?
I believe
whenever the show airs.
Yeah, when it's supposed to be 2018, I'm guessing it's going to be closer to October, just because that's the way Netflix does their horror-based shows. what we should expect is to see Sabrina get this mentor that appears to be human and nice at first.
Right.
That helps Sabrina get, parts and plays, better grades, the whole 9 yards. But then kind of attaches herself to the witch side of Sabrina and tries to become her mentor over there. And if it sticks true to the comics, will involve things like human sacrifice. By Harvey. Yeah. Possible spoilers. For the 4 of us that are out there reading the actual comics.
Okay.
It's popular to the people that read it, but not a lot of people have gotten into the comic because it's not the Melissa Joan Hart version that people expect going in. It's a lot darker. The comic is set in the either late 50s or early 60s. My guess is they're not going to do that with the show. My guess is that they're going to make it modern. So even if they don't have direct ties with the Riverdale show, that option is still there.
So is Riverdale set in period?
Riverdale is set in now, but I have a theory that they're actually in a time warp because they'll use phrases and, act certain ways that fit with the late 50s, early 60s.
When Archie was made.
Right, but they're using modern technology. So I'm thinking that Riverdale exists in a parallel universe
where time doesn't matter.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
with witchcraft, I suppose if they do make a crossover, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But hey, but that's something we'll deal with when it happens. But just know Netflix, you got me.
You got you with the Gomez.
You got me. It's like, yep. There was no discussion. It's like, oh, I'm watching the show.
Yep. Because like you said before, there's certain actors and actresses that will get you in there.
Yes.
But then the story's got to keep you.
That's true. But getting in there is also an important step.
Oh, yeah. Now, is Gomez one of those where if she's a prominent character in each episode, are you going to pay as close of attention to the story as if she's like some minor every other episode character?
Well, that's tough to say. Because that's how I first watched Doctor Who. But then, the story did grab me, so now that...
And now you've gone back and watched episodes that she's nowhere even close to being in.
Exactly. Or the character.
Right.
Or the previous incarnation as the character. So the story... So she got me in.
Mm-hmm.
Big step in.
Right.
But I would say the story did eventually grab me.
Okay.
So that really depends on the show.
Yeah.
If... because... I mean, you think, as many people as I like in Legends of Tomorrow, I would be into it.
Yeah.
But it's just, from my point of view, the story doesn't, keep me in.
Oh, and I can definitely understand that.
And
as a fan, I can understand that.
But that's just that. I was interested, and even with season 1, I was like, hey, this sounds cool, but it just didn't sound like my thing. And then I tried again when Matt Lesher came back as Eobard.
Yeah,
I watched his episodes and I looked up his clips, but
just
the show just couldn't get me in.
Right.
So it's really a toss-up for Sabrina.
Okay.
I have a feeling, maybe because I don't know too much about Sabrina, but I am somewhat familiar with it. Unlike Riverdale, where I don't know anything. Plus, I don't have anything. I don't have any expectations nor know anything. With Sabrina, there is something I can kind of latch onto.
Yeah.
Previous before the show.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling. I have a good feeling I'll probably stick around with that. Unless it's just not good.
Yeah. Now, before we start talking about the movie.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about Black Panther. We'll warn you if we're going to get spoilery at all. TeeVo has seen it. I have not.
Yes.
Before we start talking about the movie, do you want to talk any behind the scenes things that you may have been chomping at the bit for the past
year?
Yeah.
To
talk about?
So,
do you have any connections with Black Panther?
So our dear listeners, so I've been having to hold this for a year. It's been tough because I pretty much right when I got back, I wanted to tell everybody, and I did in person, but some things I couldn't put online.
Right. For legal
literally 3 contracts worth of reasons. Dear listeners, I got to be an extra in Black Panther for about a week in February of 2017. The Beard knows all about it.
Yeah.
I was telling him literally when I got back.
Yeah.
But I was so paranoid, I didn't tell anybody through like a messenger app or a Hangouts app. I had to make sure. I did tell people, there's something I really want to tell you. And if Marvel was bugging my phone, that could literally mean anything right now.
Right.
I didn't say anything about anything. I just said there's something I want to tell you really, really bad.
Right.
So I waited till we spoke face to face, but
you left no paper trail.
No paper trail.
Yeah.
Because it could mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
I could have got a new puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to tell you, and I wanted to surprise you.
Right, and you didn't want Marvel to know about the puppy.
No.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
But if Tony Stark had bugged your phone...
that was my defense.
Yeah.
That was my defense.
It makes sense.
So, first off, I will say that I did see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see me clearly.
Okay.
So for anybody that wants to look out for me, you have to have an eagle. If an eagle and a hawk made a baby, and that baby was mutated with a telescope,
nice,
and formed some like telescope baby, you need to have that eye to catch me.
Okay.
Because while I know where I'm at, but as we said, I was an extra. I know what spot of the set I was standing in at certain points, and I know some of the action. So I knew if it was me at some points, that's where I'd be. Mm-hmm. But I don't have the luxury of like, oh, there's Black Panther. Hey, that random person behind him with a very clear face. I don't have that luxury.
Now, what kind of scene were you in?
So for those who've seen the movie, if you have such telescope mutated bird eye, it is in the South Korea casino scene.
Okay. South Korea, of course, filmed in Atlanta.
Well, money reasons,
Right, yeah. No.
But they did actually go to Korea. So they didn't, just completely fake Korea. It's just, this was supposed to be an underground casino in Korea.
Yeah.
Underground can be made anywhere. Mm-hmm. It could be made in the room we're sitting in.
Very true.
But, when because the scene is followed by a big car chase sequence, big action sequence. Yeah. Through the streets of South Korea in Busan. Mm-hmm. You can't really fake too much of that, so you really you do have to go there. And they did, so that was legit. Okay, but the casino scene. So when I was there, we as extras, we are told nothing because why do they? But they don't need to tell us anything. Yeah, no. And if you've heard our extras masterclass episodes before, that's not a surprise.
Right, yeah.
But I know, I'm there for a week.
So even for a bigger budget thing like this, everything is still kind of the same. There's a lot of, the same routines and stuff you go through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The only thing different is that sometimes you have more people to take care of you.
Right, yeah. Now, I remember that story.
So we're in a casino, and already I'm thinking, okay, they don't not tell us anything, other than we're casino patrons, but we don't need to know why Black Panther is there, because to us, I mean, it makes sense. We are casino patrons. Yeah. We are here to make money. This Wakandan dude has no effect on us, unless he plans to give me money.
If you were in a real casino, you wouldn't be
I'm not
paying attention to this guy.
I'm not worried about what everybody else is doing. Right. So we get in there, but I already knew it's a week, so I'm thinking, okay, they're not going to tell us anything, but we're here for a while. So surely it's something important. Right. Otherwise, much like many of the shoots I've done, it's one day, and if you don't see me from the one day, there's a reason why. Yeah. But I'm thinking a week, all right, so we get in. And it's shot in the Screen Gem studio. Yeah, I'm giving you all the information. Oh, the movie is out. It's credited at the end. Yeah. I can say it now. I could have said it yesterday, but I'm saying it today. Yeah. And you won't hear it till next week. So I'm fully in the clear. Yep. So we shot this sequence at the Screen Gem studio in Atlanta. And it was February in Atlanta, so if nobody knows what that feels like, it's not cold, but it's not deathly hot. Right. It's let's just say it's a very, southeast part of the country vibe. Right. So walk in, there's, there's my costume, which I was a casino patron, so they put me in a suit, put all some nice, dresses and suits and all that stuff. I go to the actual set. Yeah. And how it looks in the movie is exactly how it looks like when I saw it with my own eyes. Because there are things sometimes that, fool you.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember signing a contract, but I won't say it just in case. But there was a movie where it was heavily CGI that I got to do a day for. Yeah, it's exactly how you feel a heavily CGI
Just walk into a big green room?
Well, we were just on the street and we're told to run away from stuff. And they'll add it in later. But it feels silly.
Because there's nothing to run away from. Yeah.
And, I'm doing very stupid things while I'm running away because I feel silly. And that's just that. But this with Black Panther, it was built. Like the casino was built.
So if somebody would have blindfolded you and dropped you in this room, you would have had no clue you were.
I would have no clue. Yeah. I mean, eventually, because, they'd only go so far.
Right, yeah.
But,
just that initial facing.
But walking in, I was just completely amazed. Like, it had that smoky environment. It, it wasn't hard to tell when I saw the movie because it looked just like that.
Right.
So, to credit to the set designers, the lighting people.
Yeah.
For all that. And the first person I see getting some directions is Martin Freeman.
Nice.
And I freak out because, internally. Because, don't freak... Another masterclass lesson. Do not freak out.
Right.
That is an easy way sometimes to get, not kicked out sometimes, but at least you're being watched.
Because even though it's hard to remember, you're walking in on somebody doing their job.
Yes. As glamorous as it may seem, and how, we glamorize it as well. Yeah. That is something people always forget, is their job. We can like the final product, but let them get to the final product before we kind of jump on them for that.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't walk into H&R Block and, go fanboy crazy on an accountant.
No.
Most people wouldn't. I'm not saying there's not ones that would. But...
Yeah. But at least let them do your taxes first.
Right. Yeah.
And then fanboy on them.
Yeah, then fanboy.
That's exactly that. It's like, I saw him, I'm thinking, all right, there's Martin Freeman. Bucket list item. At least I got to see Martin Freeman.
You were breathing literally the same air he was.
And then he went away because he was still in his regular clothes. I think he was just getting the basic layout of the scene because he needs to know what's going on.
Right, yeah. He's a little important to the movie.
His character is pertinent to the information of what's going on. We are not. So they set us up and, they start shooting some scenes and in comes Lupita Nyong'o, Denai Guerrero, and Chadwick Boseman as their characters. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, what?
So your brain is literally exploding at this point.
On the inside, because, hey, game face on. Game face is on. But I'm thinking, I had the luxury of doing Spider-Man the year before. But, you don't see me in that scene. And it was just kind of mildly cool that I could say, hey, I was in an MCU film.
Right.
This one, but one more thing about Spider-Man was, we shot in a real street. And aside from seeing Spider-Man drive fast in a car, it just felt like we were in a street in Atlanta.
Right, yeah.
That's just that.
They didn't have to build it, it already existed.
No. I mean, the shots of Spider-Man were cool and the notion like, hey, we're in the MCU.
Right.
It just...
Definitely one that looked cooler on screen.
It was dwarfed. That experience was completely dwarfed by this experience because everything was built so I could feel like I was on a set. Unlike seeing Tom Holland in a car rig far away, and he nicely waved at us. Yeah, there were moments where I was as close as I am to you right now to Chadwick Boseman, to Black Panther. Okay, so it felt so much more real. So the scene, for those who've seen the movie, for those who haven't, it's not really spoiler filled because I thought, this scene was going to come a lot later. Yeah. In the movie, it's relatively early comparatively. So, spoilers, I guess.
Well, there's at least one teaser or trailer that has a casino scene. In it. So.
Well, I knew what was happening in it. But again, I didn't want to spoil it too much. Right. Before I saw the movie because I didn't know when this exact scene was going to take place. Yeah. After seeing it, it's like, oh, that was relatively early. Okay. So they're there because they track Ulysses Claw, who stole a piece of vibranium. He plans to sell it to a mysterious buyer. The mysterious buyer happened to be Martin Freeman. And, comic book mayhem ensues. Right. As I said, the scene is followed by a massive car chase in Busan, Korea. So there's that. and how it affects the rest of the story. It does, but let's just say there were some things that happened. We'll get to the review part later,
right?
That I did not see coming.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I mean, it was by far one of the most amazing days, plural, I've ever had on a movie set. In fact, it set the bar so high that I did go on extras work for the year 2017. Mm-hmm. And because Black Panther was so high, my experiences after that kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Just by sheer comparison?
By sheer comparison, and I actually think they just were actually worse.
Yeah, you have told some horror stories.
And, but, I don't want to turn anybody off who really wants to do this, but it's just the reality of it. Black Panther was, in my case, the best scenario.
Yeah. And
they're obviously better. I could have actually said something.
I was going to say, did you have any communication with Martin Freeman?
I did. Yeah. I got to talk to Chad a little bit. I learned that guy does not break character. He kept
nice.
As far as like to us, when they were setting the scene, talking to the director, he would talk as T'Challa. At least keep the accent. I don't know if he was like that method and thinking he was really the king of Wakanda.
Yeah.
But the accent. But it makes sense. I mean, if you had to put on an accent, it's just easier to.
Yeah, you don't want to screw it up when they say action next.
Yeah. When the work is actually needed. Mm-hmm. Speaking of keeping accents, I got to. There's a long story of how it happened, but we won't have to say that. But I did get to have plenty of interaction with Martin Freeman, and again, freaking out inside. Right. I'm freaking out. This is a guy. It's one of those guys, and I think I will put him in the category. He will get me in, and he will make me stay for a show or movie. Yeah. Not story doesn't matter.
Nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah. He is one of them.
Yeah.
So I am freaking out, but gotta stay cool. Because, we're at work and I don't want to alarm him, and, he has power over me. He could get me at least away from the main action. Yeah. And I don't want to do that. I want to see the good stuff.
Even if he doesn't get you blackballed from doing extra work at all, he can at least get you out of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I came up to him and I just said, hey, I'm a big fan. I love all your work. Recently with Fargo and that Crackle show Startup. It's really good. And I explained that I love the way the character works. Yeah. And he said, thank you. And, we just had a little talk after that. And I walked away and I thought, another bucket list item. Yeah. Checked off. And, did the scene. And then all of a sudden, I feel a tap on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's Martin Freeman going, hey, let me ask you something. And by the way, accent again. How with Chad, he kept the T'Challa accent. Mm-hmm. Martin, he keeps the American accent. Because again, it's... and I watched him on Conan lately. Mm-hmm. It's just easier. I mean, if you got to do it for the work, you might as well... While you're on the clock.
Right.
You might as well just, keep talking like that.
Right.
So when they say action, you don't have to think, okay, how do I say this?
Yeah. How do I become American again?
Yes. So when I was talking to him at first, I was speaking to American Martin Freeman.
Right, which is got to be kind of jarring a little bit.
Maybe because I've seen him in some American roles lately, and just the fact that it was Martin Freeman, it just, it didn't matter to me.
Yeah, he could have been speaking Japanese, and you would have been like, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, he wanted more of my opinion on that Crackle show.
Wow.
He was just like, so, because he was asking, how did you find out about this? Because, with Crackle... You say Crackle to some people, they're like, stop making up words.
Right.
So you wanted to know how I found out about it and what else I think about it. And it was one of those moments. You got to be truthful. I don't know how this pertains to just extra stuff, but just life stuff. Yeah. Because I could have just said, oh, well, I read it in an article. I saw an ad. Yeah. I was honest with them and said, well, Mr. Freeman, just, if I may be honest, I am a huge fan of yours. Mm-hmm. So anytime you do a project, I'm going to know about it.
It's like I was on Wikipedia.
And I saw you're doing the show. Yeah. And I thought, okay, well, when that show comes out, I'm going to watch it. Yeah. No questions asked.
I mean, in cases like that, it makes perfect sense, to be honest, because if you told them you were reading Variety or something, that gives them the wrong idea of how they're finding people.
Yeah. So I told him that. And, we then talked about, couple other shows he did, mainly Fargo. And I told him I like how in both shows, with when you're playing an American, you savagely beat a woman to death. And he just looked at me and said, well, anytime I get an opportunity, why not?
That's it. Yeah.
But I don't know. This may be me reading more into it, but I like to think he appreciated talking about other works than The Hobbit or Sherlock.
Right,
yeah. I'm sure he gets that a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's grateful for it, but, it was nice to, they do more work sometimes. It's nice to, as a performer, or in my case, an ex-performer, it's nice to be validated a little bit. I mean, it doesn't mean you're completely vain, but it's just nice to have it a little validated.
Again, it's a job. So if your accountant does a really good job, you should thank them and appreciate them, and not just,
well, like if your accountant like does more than just taxes, like they make you a budget, or you only want to talk about the taxes, they're probably like, I do all this other stuff for you, I like how we're comparing movie stars to accountants. Is it because it's tax season?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Did you do your taxes lately?
I have.
Okay, I still need to do mine. But I do have a person I like to go to at HR and Block, so I do need to give him a call soon.
And you thank him and appreciate him.
I do thank him and appreciate him.
So, and you don't fanboy until he tells you what your refund is, and then you get excited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I let him do the job first.
It's the same thing. So if you see these movie stars or you're an extra, let them do their job and then get excited when you see the final product.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if for miraculous moments like I had, you still got to keep calm.
Now how does that, how did you feel during that moment when he taps you on the shoulder and starts asking your opinion? Top of the world sort of thing, just like chest puffing out.
I can't even. Oh my god! Because I remember the moment so vividly. Because when I first approached him and just gave him my spiel of hey, I love this work and all that stuff.
It's like something you've done a million times with other actors.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's something I've done in my head a lot.
Yeah,
I prepared to say this to Martin Freeman, whether I ever had the opportunity or not. I prepared to say, hey, love your work. I love so and so shows.
Yeah.
Nothing could have prepared for him to be like, hey, how did you,
right.
like I'm seeking you out.
Yeah.
I still kept it calm.
The outside.
when I said, when I was being honest, I said, hey, I'm a big fan of yours. I said it as calmly as I could. Yeah. And, that led to later, me and Martin Freeman for a week had kind of a work relationship. Yeah. Because, he would go to his tent later on while we were shoveled off into somewhere else. But then they set the scene again. Martin moves to another place. Sometimes you as an extra do not stay in the same place. Yeah. So sometimes if you got a good spot, don't get too comfortable. They can move you like nothing. Right. And there were a couple times during the rest of the day or, the next few days that I was close to Martin again. I'd be like, hey, Martin, how are you doing?
And not even Mr. Freeman, it's Martin.
Well, because at the end of the night, I walked up to him. At the end of the night when the clock is off. Right. I walked up to him and I said, hey, it was really nice to meet you. I'm Tim. And he goes, British accent, oh, Martin.
That you full permission right there.
Yeah, and then also it was cool. It's like, there's no more cameras, so you can be British again. Right. So yeah, he shakes my hand, Martin. Nice. And so that's why from then on, I was like, hey, Martin, how you doing? Yeah.
He literally gave you permission to call him that.
If he told me to just say Mr. Freeman or just Mr., I'd be like, yes.
Sure, Mr. Martin.
Mr.
Yeah, Mr.
And I got to do a day after a weekend. So, I had a weekend off at ST. And we came back on Monday, and I remember seeing him first thing in the morning. I said, hey, Martin, how you doing? He's like, I'm good. How was your weekend? Just
wow.
Stuff like that. I just can't believe. I was like, oh my god.
Like you guys have been buddies.
Right. He looked at me and I assume he still remembered me. Yeah. At least he's a good actor, so he at least acted like he did. Yeah. No. And I didn't have the exact kind of relationship with Chadwick Boseman, but you just.
Well, I know you keep calling him by both names instead of just saying Chad.
They do say Chad, but I didn't. I just want to make sure
you didn't get permission from him though.
Well, if anything, when someone asked him what his name was, because you get those stupid people on set, I I don't feel bad saying that. There are some dummies on set.
Yeah.
There was a guy literally asking him what's his name, and he said T'Challa.
Nice.
I don't know if he was trying to be in character or just messing with that guy.
Right.
Needless to say, this guy was not liked by anybody on set, so
Yeah.
I don't feel bad at all.
Right.
And not like you're listening anyway. It's not in Korean, so this guy was a pretty hardcore Korean person.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But but again, you know, I mean, I'm standing there with Black Panther.
Right.
Like, I just saw Civil War like a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Your big screen debut just happened. I get to be there with you during a scene. I mean, I didn't get to see the suit, but in some ways, this is better. It's you,
right? Yeah.
So,
and the suit could be anybody.
Well, later I did get to do one night shot outside,
mm-hmm.
and yes, the suit was just anybody.
Yeah.
But him. I mean, Chadwick Boseman. Come on. I mean, the guy.
Yeah.
His reputation precedes him.
Mm-hmm.
And the last cool thing on set I got to do was I was there for the Stan Lee cameo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got to see Stan. I didn't get to talk to Stan.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the fact that, like, because they tell us nothing.
Right.
They don't even tell us that it's a Stan Lee scene. I just happened to hear some people set some extras here. They're like, okay, you go over here, and then someone's like, wait, don't put him there. That's where Stan's gonna be. And I'm just like,
you're like, these Stan?
I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I don't advise this. Again, I'm not advising this. I'm just being truthful. This is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But so they sent us all away because they want, you know, Stan to do his cameo in silence,
mm-hmm.
and, you know, peace, and
yeah.
whoever needs to be there needs to be there.
Because he's Stan Lee.
Yeah. Whoever needs to be there, but, you know, if you don't need to be there, go away.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a guy who came in and said, who was at the table over here, like, right, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just raised my hand because here's the thing about PAs, people. They don't really remember what you look like.
Right. They
all
do enough with you extras.
You all look the same to them.
Yeah.
So the honest policy is the trust policy is very is very pertinent.
Yeah.
I broke that
because
because I knew that's what they were doing.
Right.
They were doing the Stan scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no reason that only that table where the guy said that's where Stan's standing. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why only those people at that table still didn't get to go get food or something.
Yeah.
We all did. So when the guy said, hey, who is by the blah blah this table?
Mm-hmm.
I just raised my hand. I was. Okay, yeah, okay, come on.
Nice.
And you know, other people too. Like, all right, come on, follow me.
Yeah.
So, and I saw the movie. You don't see me at all during it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But it's just cool to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And, you know, in the wings, getting ready to walk up to him was Black Panther. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like my starting point was so close to Chad. And I'm watching Stan do his cameo. It was like...
and you're on a first name basis with Martin.
And just, oh my God. Like,
yeah.
There were so many times in that week that I just thought, how is this your life? How is this my life?
Yeah.
And if I don't do another movie, which is currently in year 2018, I haven't sought out as hard because of the other experience I've had in 2017. But I thought, I mean, you know, if I don't do this again.
It's not the worst note to end on.
It's not the worst note to end on. Or just, it's just, that's okay. I can always draw upon some of the great ones I've had.
Right. Yeah.
And this definitely tops it.
Yeah.
But as far as, you know, the movie, you know, it doesn't show that. There were a couple scenes that I was really hoping they keep in. Mm-hmm. I was fortunate enough to be hiding in a certain spot that I did see the cinematographer kind of work on a couple shots. Yeah. Like polishing it up, touching it up. So I thought, oh, yes, maybe that, because they're working on it, maybe that means they're going to use it. Yeah. Which, by the way, the cinematographer was recently nominated for an Academy Award for the Netflix movie Mudbound. So it was kind of cool to be like, oh my God, I saw her do her thing. Yeah. Yay, good for her. But I saw her do the scene where Lupita Nyong'o's character Nakia walks from the staircase, which you see in the movie, to the bar. And you see me clear as day. And I was like, okay, please keep that. Please keep that.
Delete.
Well, because, you know, movies, you know, hey, the action's got to go. We got to keep going. Yeah. So you see Denai Guerrero's character go to her post, and you see that. You see Chadwick Boseman and Lupita Nyong'o go down the stairs, and they go to their respective places. And you see Chad go to his place, and then the next, because Lupita was ultimately walking to the bar.
Yeah.
So you see Chad go to his place, and then you see Lupita at the bar.
Mm-hmm. You
don't need to know how she got there.
Right, yeah. And there's some things that look good on paper, but once you actually film, don't work.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine that scene took more than like 4 seconds, but that's 4 seconds that could bore someone.
Right, yeah.
That could take someone out of it. Mm-hmm. So, I was a little sad that scene, but there's always special features.
That's true, yeah.
Just because they did film it, it could have led to something else, but we don't know. But I was a little disappointed because I knew for sure, because I saw that I saw that shot. I was like, oh my god, like you can see me as clear as day. But like I said, beginning before this, you'd have to really know where I'm at and have to look fast.
Yeah.
And they're in one of the fight sequences, because again, this sequence leads to big action sequences, a big gun battle.
Yeah.
I know where I'm at, so I can find it. I knew where to look there.
Yeah.
When they survey the casino room, I knew where I was at. So real quickly, I was like, okay, I think that was me. I need the Blu-ray to. I need the Blu-ray.
Pause, yeah.
And there's one sequence when leading up to the big car chase sequence. I think it's me, but again, I need the Blu-ray.
Right.
It's been on YouTube, but I need to pause it like a little more proficiently on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, YouTube isn't the best for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, disappointed that I couldn't get to say 100%, oh my God, that's me. You undeniably, that's me.
Yeah.
Unlike my scene in Anchorman 2, that's undeniably me.
And that's what I was about to get into, since we don't have time to go into a full review for this episode.
Go see the movie, people.
Yeah.
I mean, just listen to what Rotten Tomatoes says. Like, if you don't want to see this movie, you clearly you haven't been paying attention. Right.
So just even as a film, I've heard it's a really good movie.
Yeah, so I guess this is our review part.
The mini review, yeah.
Well, as a film, yeah, it's good because Marvel films just keeps, and mostly TV. We don't have to talk about Inhumans.
Right.
But
everybody has their hiccups.
But Marvel just keeps finding good ways to reinvent telling stories.
Yeah.
There are some better than others, but at least they're taking the risk, and it's rewarding them that they're not just telling your classic superhero stories.
Yeah.
That's, why 90s people don't look at 90s superhero movies very fondly, because back then they had to be like, okay, we got to do this trope, we got to do this trope, we got to do this trope, and end with this trope.
Yeah.
And that's how they all went. With Marvel, they've done well with ultimately a story about fathers and daughters. With a heist movie, they've done space, adventures.
Yeah.
And, this one was pretty much their most Shakespearean type. I mean, it did resonate, and I don't mean to be offensive because they're both set in Africa, but this movie was the MCU Lion King.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps they're both owned by Disney.
Right.
But it's the story about, the son who lost his father and his seat to the throne is being challenged.
Yeah.
And it was great, and I don't know what they're going to do later with his story. Now that the $52 billion deal is, being worked out.
Yeah.
Will we see a storm? I don't know. But, yeah, for this movie, you gotta see it.
Yeah. So it seems like what you're saying Marvel's liking to do now is take these popular genres and say, okay, how can we fit a superhero into this?
Right?
How do you make Hamlet a superhero?
I mean, it's working.
Yeah.
I don't know and I'm looking forward. And of course, they do their classic superhero movies. Avengers is the classic superhero.
Right.
They're just done well. And I can't wait for the Infinity War, because that is the next Marvel movie coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to do, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Saw the trailer. Did you see the trailer for that?
I've not seen the trailer yet. I've seen the posters for it, though.
It's just looks like you're picking up right with the first one. Good place to start for that franchise.
Yeah.
Go for it. The one I'm curious what they're gonna do is Captain Marvel, but they keep their stuff close to the chest. So
yes, they do.
Whenever they're ready to tell us what it's gonna be like.
Yeah. It's because they have people sign these multi-page contracts from saying anything.
Well, yeah.
Because if yours is only 3 pages, imagine what the actual actors and actresses and directors are.
Well, I mean, I know they can definitely sue us, but I think maybe the most the lightest they'll do is just blacklist us.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, I respect Marvel too much to break it.
Oh yeah.
That way.
Right.
I obviously told you,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, I obviously trust the people I told.
Yeah.
And plus, I left no paper trail.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, hey, some really cool stuff is happening this week.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to tell you.
Yeah.
Probably
You'll have to wait to find out.
You have to wait to find out. Everybody did.
Yep. So.
But other than that, that's yeah. Sorry we didn't get to do a review, but I mean, just look at the the reactions to it from literally everybody.
Yeah, because there's not much you can really add.
There is not much more I can add.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I really wanted to say was that you know, Marvel keeps taking different types of stories and putting a superhero in it rather than, okay, well, we're a superhero, yay, fly. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was talking to our longtime fan earlier today, Saran, about the movie, I didn't ask him, how did you like the movie or did you enjoy it? I said, how awesome was the movie?
So, you don't need me to do a review. Just literally see all the reception around it, both, you know, from professional critics to just fans. Yeah. And they're all going to be glowing, so. And
then stay for the mid-credit and post-credit sequences per usual.
Do you know them?
I don't.
Do you want to? We can...
Off the air.
Okay.
Off air, yeah. Because now that we've gone all the way through, I don't feel like going back in and tagging a spoiler thing. So.
Okay.
So until next week.